Welcome to World News. Tonight from London. In the headlines, center stage. The president plays down differences at this G20 economic summit, plays up a breakthrough in relations with Russia, and he and the First Lady play the palace, going to Buckingham to visit the Queen. Stunning reversal. The U.S. senator is a convicted felon. Now the government says prosecutors blew the case. They want the verdict tossed out. And Cook's tour. Chef Jamie Oliver prepares the summit dinner tonight. His cooks, all kids down on their luck, way down.
From ABC News, this is World News with Charles Gibson. Reporting tonight from London.
Good evening. President Obama has said the world is hungry for American leadership. He spent the day here in London working to prove it, trying to find unity on how to tackle the world's economic problems. And he is forging personal relationships with heads of state, some of whom have not recently had warm things to say about the U.S. But there was also an opportunity for the President and First Lady to enjoy the privileges of office. Not everyone gets invited for a visit with the Queen. There is so much to cover on this day, and we begin with Jake Tapper. Jake, good evening.
Good evening, Charlie. Well, the G20 summit has officially kicked off with the world leaders having enjoyed a dinner with other heads of state. But though this is an economic summit, Charlie, the big news came in what some are heralding as a major breakthrough in U.S.-Russian relations. The traditional class photo of the G20 leaders, taken this afternoon in the throne room at Buckingham Palace. The president and British Prime Minister Gordon Brown earlier in the day tried to present a picture of confidence.
I came here to put forward our ideas, but I also came here to listen, not to lecture.
But the president warned other countries to get used to American consumers saving more and spending less.
In some ways, the world has become accustomed to the United States being a voracious consumer market and the engine that drives a lot of economic growth worldwide.
That needs to change, he warned.
If there's going to be renewed growth, it can't just be the United States as the engine.
But the president's big announcement today came not in the field of economics, but international politics. After years of what both President Obama and Russian President Dmitry Medvedev described as a drift between the two countries, the two men today, after their first ever meeting, declared a new day.
What I believe we've begun today is a very constructive dialogue that will allow us to work on issues of mutual interest, like the reduction of nuclear weapons.
The Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty, signed in 1991, will expire in December. Today, both presidents committed to begin negotiating a new agreement to reduce the two countries' combined estimated nuclear arsenal from roughly 4,500 missiles to 3,000. They also pledged to work together on nuclear disarmament in North Korea, Iran, and elsewhere, and to hold a summit to work on this agenda this summer.
I have agreed to visit Moscow in July, which we both agreed was a better time than January to visit.
The president also announced today a visit to China later this year.
The relationship between the United States and China has become extremely constructive.
Now, President Obama was asked today, Charlie, by a British journalist just how much the U.S. should be blamed for the global economic meltdown. The president said that the U.S. has some accounting to do when it comes to insufficient regulation of financial markets, but he said he's more interested in fixing the problem than laying blame. And tomorrow we'll see just how many of his proposed fixes the G20 adopts. Charlie?
All right, Jake Tapper reporting here in London on the G20 summit. And our senior foreign correspondent, Jim Sciutto, is also with us here in London. And Jim, I want to talk a little bit about U.S.-Russian relations that Jake just referred to, because they have been rather icy in recent years. And drifting, I think the two of them said today, drifting apart. And yet they seemed somewhat convivial today. Important?
Well, you're right. Those relations had reached a crisis point over the last year over Russia's war in Georgia, U.S. plans for missile defense in Eastern Europe. So a positive first meeting, truly crucial. And if you look at the language of their statement, it goes beyond the normal diplomatic speak, setting out a very specific work plan for negotiators leading up to this summit. In July, they set out goals and deadlines, and they appear to want those goals met.
And they talked about an arms agreement, and Jake reported what they've agreed to. But I know you've been talking to arms control experts all day, and how important do they consider this is? Do they think this is a breakthrough?
Well, they call this a truly ambitious plan to transform U.S.-Russian relations, touching on nearly every issue, and the list is long, that have divided these two countries, from Iran to Afghanistan. The centerpiece, though, these comprehensive new nuclear talks, including a first for U.S. and Russian leaders together, an agreement on the eventual elimination of all nuclear weapons. The former top U.S. arms negotiator called that, Charlie, truly visionary.
All right, Jim Sciutto reporting from here in London. At his news conference today with the British Prime Minister, the president was asked what he loves about Great Britain. And among other things, he mentioned a special appointment that he had this afternoon. Normally, when a crowd's gathering outside Buckingham Palace, it's to see the changing of the guard. Not today. There's 20 world leaders in town. It's just Obama that you wanted to see?
He's the best.
He's the best?
He's the best.
But all the crowd saw were cars. When you visit the Queen, she doesn't come down to the door to say hi. Even if you're President of the United States, you're greeted by the master of the household. Then you meet the Queen's lady-in-waiting. Then you go in. And even though the Queen knows exactly who you are, you're announced.
President of the United States of America, Mrs. Obama.
Then there's small talk. Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much for having us.
Then the Queen asks about jet lag.
I know, it's an awful time lag, isn't it?
I had breakfast with the Prime Minister. I had meetings with the Chinese, the Russians.
And stayed awake.
And I'm proud to say I did not nod off in any of the meetings.
Then, because you're president, you pose for pictures and sit down for a 20-minute private meeting. The other 19 leaders, they only get a receiving line, one at a time, greeting Her Majesty. The ministers, they get hustled through. Not quite at this speed, but quickly. And then there's an hour's mix and mingle. Interesting to see the president on the world stage for the first time and see the Queen close up. Proper etiquette, we're told, you don't touch the Queen till she touches you. But hey, by this time, everybody's old friends. By the way, as a gift, the Obamas brought the Queen an iPod. Nice. The word is she already has one. But they gave her something she didn't have, a rare songbook signed by composer Richard Rodgers. While diplomacy is the order of the day among the heads of state, there was disorder on London's streets today. Thousands of protesters, angry over everything from the financial collapse to global warming, clashed with police. Scotland Yard reports 63 were arrested. Miguel Marquez spent the day among the protesters.
In central London today, rage against the banks. A mob stormed the financial district, smashing windows at the Royal Bank of Scotland.
Get him! Arrest get him out of here!
The bank was bailed out by the government here, and its former president walked away with a lifetime pension of more than $1 million a year.
This is where protesters and police have clashed most of all, right in front of the Royal Bank of Scotland, RBS. They smashed windows there earlier, and now there's a standoff between police and riot gear and the protesters.
But thousands more protesters came with messages of peace.
Stop the killing! Stop the hate!
Anti-war demonstrators outside the U.S. Embassy. Across town, environmental activists camped out on busy streets. Among the dozens arrested were these people who tried to sneak in disguised as police in an armored vehicle. Tonight, anger here is still simmering, with protesters calling for an even larger show of force when the summit gets underway tomorrow. Miguel Marquez, ABC News, London.
Getting back to economics, which is, after all, the purpose of this G20 summit, the French President Nicolas Sarkozy and German Chancellor Angela Merkel held a joint press conference today saying the way out of the global economic mess is stricter regulation of the financial markets. They're opposed to the kind of stimulus spending that's been proposed by President Obama. Earlier today, I asked Treasury Secretary Timothy Geithner about this apparent discord. Mr. Secretary, the President said today, let's not get too hung up on the differences between nations at this conference. But aren't there very real differences on the critical issue, which is the willingness to commit to stimulus spending?
Now, Charlie, I think if you look at what's already happened, there is a huge amount of fiscal stimulus already in the pipeline. There is very, very broad support already for the kind of program the President came here with, which is to bring growth back as quickly as possible, make sure we have open markets, expanding trade, which are so important to American business.
But when you look at what the Germans are spending, the French are spending, the Italians are spending, when the president of the EU says the U.S. spending package is the road to hell, that bespeaks some real differences, doesn't it?
I think the differences you've seen are dramatically exaggerated. Now, we are in slightly different circumstances, each of us, and what's going to be necessary for each of our economies individually is going to vary. But I think this is the strongest moment of cooperation globally you've seen since the Second World War.
While we're talking, let me ask you about a couple of domestic issues.
Sure.
The president was very specific about things that the auto industry had to do in order to get more money from the United States government. The banks are getting much, much larger dollars without anywhere near those kinds of strings attached, or very specific things that they have to do. Do we have a double standard?
And we don't, absolutely not. Now, we've already seen very, very dramatic restructuring across our financial system. There's accountability where we need to, so the taxpayers' interests are protected. That basic standard and basic objective is the same across everything we're doing to help get recovery back on track. Now, it's going to require different things in different cases, but if you look at where the government has already acted, we're meeting that test consistently.
We saw a sort of populist fervor that erupted over the AIG bonuses. Is it possible to assuage both Wall Street and the banks and Main Street at the same time?
You know, there is a deep and understandable anger across this country by people who were careful and responsible in their financial decisions, who are now bearing such a huge burden of suffering because of this financial crisis, caused by people who took too much risk they didn't understand. And that anger and frustration is completely understandable. You know, financial crises are just deeply unfair, indiscriminate in the damage they cause. But our basic obligation, again, and the most important thing to help make sure we're protecting people who are most vulnerable and who need access to credit is to make sure we're businesses and families that depend on banks. You know, we're not doing this, Charlie, for banks. We're doing it for the American economy, and all economies depend on a working financial system.
The Treasury Secretary, Timothy Geithner, here in London. And still ahead on World News, prosecutors move to clear a powerful former senator who lost his seat because of a botched corruption case. Americans reveal how they're hurting in the recession, our new poll on how everyday life is being turned upside down. And here in London, 20 world leaders and the chef chosen to dazzle them at dinner. Talk about a pressure cooker.
This is World News with Charles Gibson, brought to you by CVS Pharmacy.
No one pays you back like CVS Pharmacy. Hurry in now and get your extra bucks. Extra Care members received over $1.8 billion in rewards and savings just last year. CVS Pharmacy pays you back. And these days, everyone could use a few extra bucks. Make sure you get your extra bucks today. CVS Pharmacy, for all the ways you care.
May I help you?
Hi, I need to start saving on car insurance.
Money a bit tight?
Yeah, I've had to cut back, sell some stuff, like his watch.
We can help you save because we instantly compare your Progressive Direct rate with rates from other top companies. Watch this. Nice savings.
This means I can buy my watch back.
Oh, this watch?
Yeah.
Not for sale.
That's cold.
Making sure you get a great deal. Now that's Progressive. Call or click today.
Does your food carry its own weight? At Kashi, we make our foods with 7 whole grains, protein, and fiber. So you get more bang in every bite. Our foods are designed to help your body work and feel better. So what has your food done for you lately?
Kashi, 7 whole grains on a mission.
Pick a city, then get a 4-star hotel at a 2-star price from Hotwire.com. When 4-star hotels have unsold rooms, they use Hotwire to fill them. So you get the lowest prices guaranteed.
HOTWIRE, Hotwire.com.
This is a Centrum multivitamin, complete from A to zinc. This is CoraWise, a natural ingredient that can lower cholesterol. Put them together and you get Centrum Cardio, the first and only complete multivitamin that can lower cholesterol. Centrum Cardio.
Getting ready to plant? Chances are your soil is like this. Compacted, drained of nutrients. It'll hold your plants, but it'll also hold them back. The solution? Miracle Grow Garden Soil. The perfect mix of rich organic ingredients and Miracle-Gro plant food. Just mix it in and turn bad soil into great soil. Helps plants grow twice as big. Instead of holding them back, they'll leap ahead. Miracle-Gro garden soil. Start right, finish big.
The Justice Department made a startling announcement today about the corruption case against powerful former Alaska Senator Ted Stevens, moving to throw out all the charges against him. Stevens had been the longest-serving Republican in the Senate, but he was voted out of office in November in the wake of his felony convictions. Now the government says their own prosecutors messed up. Here's Pierre Thomas.
Last fall, the 40-year political career of Senator Ted Stevens ended in disgrace. But today, Attorney General Eric Holder pulled the plug on the case, saying evidence was withheld and that it was in the interest of justice to dismiss the indictment and not proceed with a new trial.
The jury verdict here was obtained unlawfully. The government violated the Constitution of the United States.
A jury convicted Stevens of lying about thousands of dollars in gifts and renovations to his Alaska home, which was transformed from a modest cabin to what he called the chalet. But after the trial, the court learned that prosecutors may have intentionally allowed a key witness to mislead the jury. And an FBI agent who had worked the Stevens case leveled even more allegations of prosecutorial misconduct. FBI agent Chad Joy claimed in a whistleblower lawsuit that prosecutors had tried to keep a key witness from testifying, and that one of the lead agents in the case accepted gifts from witnesses and sometimes had them over for dinner.
The misconduct of the prosecutors was stunning to me. They were hell-bent on convicting a United States senator.
Federal prosecutors face an internal investigation and the possibility of prosecution themselves.
The prosecution was tainted, and that taint could never be satisfactorily removed.
No! Stevens was legendary for his temper and his ability to get billions in federal dollars for his state. Throughout the ordeal, he was defiant.
I look only forward, and I still see the day when I can remove the cloud that currently surrounds me.
That day now appears a lot closer. Pierre Thomas, ABC News, Washington.
In other news, federal officials seized more of swindler Bernard Madoff's property today, trying to recoup assets to repay his investors. U.S. Marshals in Florida seized Madoff's $11 million Palm Beach mansion, along with a 55-foot yacht worth $2.2 million, the yacht named Bull. And they took a 24-foot motorboat as well. Coming up, recession struggles. Our new findings about the American dream as World News continues.
Mom was diagnosed with moderate Alzheimer's. It was tough news to hear. Everything changed. I didn't know what to do. Right about then, our doctor mentioned the Exelon patch. He said it releases medicine continuously for 24 hours. He said it could help with her cognition, which includes things like memory, reasoning, communicating, and understanding.
The most common side effects of Exelon patch are nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. The likelihood and severity of these side effects may increase as the dose increases. Patients may experience loss of appetite or weight. Patients who weigh less than 110 pounds may experience more side effects. People at risk for stomach ulcers or who take certain other medicine should talk to their doctor because serious stomach problems such as bleeding may worsen.
Mom's diagnosis was hard to hear, but there's something I can do.
Ask your doctor about the Exelon patch. Visit exelonpatch.com to learn more.
Anxious about quitting cold turkey? Make that first step easier with the Nicoderm CQ patch. Nicoderm steps you down from nicotine gradually, doubling your chance for success. Nicoderm CQ, 3 steps, 10 weeks, and you're free.
This might not be the best time to sell a home.
But we just can't wait for the market to heat up.
Need to sell? RE/MAX agents have the experience to get the job done. Nobody sells more real estate than RE/MAX. Where do you want to be?
Hi. Number 2, please.
Would you like that to hurt now or later?
What?
Sir, it's a simple question. Do you want heartburn pain now or later?
These heartburn medicines make you choose between hurting now or later.
Pepcid Complete doesn't. It starts to neutralize acid in seconds and keeps it under control all day or all night.
Sometimes you gotta make compromises, man.
No, you don't, man. Pepcid Complete works now and works later. Now with a great new taste.
Thermacare wants to know, where does it hurt?
My aching shoulder.
Target the pain with Thermacare heat wraps. Thermacare delivers real heat that penetrates deep to relax tight muscles all day. Try Thermacare heat wraps and wear it where it hurts.
Bacon? Gotta get that bacon! Yummy, crunchy bacon, bacon, bacon! There in that bag!
Who wants a bacon strip?
Me, I get it myself, but I don't have thumbs! Yum, 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 it's bacon! I love you.
Bacon strips. There's no time like bacon time.
The month of March has ended with a milestone in Iraq. 9 American troops were killed there during the month. It is the lowest monthly total in more than 5 years. The number even more noteworthy because 5 of the 9 deaths in March were due to non-combat related incidents. With world leaders gathered here in London to tackle the global economic crisis, we have new evidence tonight of the toll that the painful recession is taking on millions of American families. In an ABC News poll, 61% of Americans say they are under economic stress, and a third call the stress serious. That stress is affecting so many of the decisions that people make. Here's Dan Harris.
If you're cutting back, today's poll is reassurance that you're not alone.
We've cut back on eating out and going out to movies and our outside entertainment.
About 2.5 weeks ago, I had lost my job. So now we're having to move back in with my mom.
63% of Americans say they're spending less, 3 in 10 pulling back sharply. Charlene Van Meer and her husband Tom lost their jobs at a factory in Michigan.
We've had to cut back on going out to eat. I mean, things as simple as getting the dog groomed. We have to save up to go to the movies.
62% of Americans say they're eating out less. 42% have canceled a vacation. 39% are putting off buying a car. And a third of parents are now cutting back on what they spend on their children's activities, like music lessons and sports. Melba Smith says she no longer takes her daughter on any outings that cost money.
I also pulled her out of daycare because I'm not working at this point, so she's not around as many of her friends as she used to be.
Some of the cutbacks don't just affect lifestyle, but life itself. 24% of Americans say they're putting off a doctor's visit or medical test because of money. There is one positive note in our poll. Only 36% say the economy is getting worse. That is way down from an overwhelming 82% last fall. Some optimism about tomorrow, yes, but as for today, this poll provides a snapshot of a diminishing American dream. Dan Harris, ABC News, New York.
And up next, behind the scenes at dinner for the most powerful people in the world.
This is the AARP Medicare Supplement Insurance Plan card. You know what's great about this card? Wherever you go, nationwide, your coverage travels with you. And that's just one of the many reasons you need the card you can trust. Because with AARP Medicare Supplement Insurance Plans, you can apply year-round, talk with personal health insurance advisors, and so much more. If you're turning 65 or older, or you've already enrolled in a Medicare supplement plan, call for this free information kit and Medicare guide. These are the only Medicare supplement insurance plans exclusively endorsed by AARP. These plans, insured by United Healthcare Insurance Company, help cover some of your medical expenses not covered by Medicare alone. This could save you thousands of dollars. Want your choice of doctors or hospitals, virtually no claim forms, and no referrals needed to see a specialist? Call for your free kit. Yep, this is one great card.
Dad? It's time. You'd be a really nice catch for somebody. Please?
Just for Men takes 5 easy minutes, targets only the gray hair, and can start something great.
Yes!
Just for Men.
TurboTax charges over $25 for a state return. But TaxAct State? Only $13.95 with your free federal return. Apples to apples. Choose smart. Go to TaxAct.com. Where do you do your taxes?
My name is Chef Michael, and my dog Bailey and me love to hang out in the kitchen so she can watch me cook. You just love the aromas of beef tenderloin and rotisserie chicken. Yes, you do. Yeah. You're so special, you deserve a very special dog food.
Introducing Chef Michael's Canine Creations, the deliciously different way to serve up your love at mealtime. Chef-inspired, dog-desired. New Chef Michael's Canine Creations.
I'm Robert Shapiro. Over 1 million people have discovered how easy it is to use LegalZoom for important legal documents. So start your business, protect your family, launch your dreams. At LegalZoom.com, we put the law on your side.
I was in the grocery store when I had a heart attack. My daughter was with me. I took a Bayer aspirin out of my purse and chewed it. My doctor said the Bayer aspirin saved my life. Please talk to your doctor about aspirin and your heart. I'm going to be grandma for a long time.
Friday, passion, faith, mystery, and murder. Did visions from God really lead to her death?
She knew she was gonna die.
And what did a letter from beyond the grave reveal? Whose death wish was it? 2020 Friday.
Tomorrow, it's a brand new way to get big bargains on your groceries. Auctions. Yes, auctions. For everything from toilet paper to milk to snack foods. Seems like a great idea. So can it really save you big? Watch Good Morning America tomorrow. And go to abcnews.com, click GMA for other creative ways to cut your costs.
Finally tonight, dinner for 20, the G20. The heads of state attending this summit gathered tonight for a working dinner, which included dishes made with fresh meats and produce from all corners of Britain. It was prepared by a well-known chef and his assistants. Those assistants know the true meaning of a second helping. Here's Nick Watt.
For President Obama, there's Germany to the east, Argentina at 12 o'clock, Korea to the west. And calling the shots in the Downing Street kitchen, Britain's favourite celebrity chef, Jamie Oliver.
Just move it around, that's it.
Who called this a pretty cool gig.
Guys.
At Oliver's side, kids from the wrong side of the tracks, given a second chance as chefs at Oliver's restaurant 15.
When I started 15, all my advisors and my own father told me not to do it. And it's been one of the most meaningful things that I've ever done.
The last time Oliver was here at Downing Street, he told Tony Blair that bad school cafeteria food was harming Britain's children. And Tony Blair listened.
We got $1 billion out of the British government.
Oliver told me he also has a suggestion.
That's it, stop.
For President Obama.
If Obama wants to make one dramatic difference to the health of America, you just got to put a huge tax on sugar. There's 4 times too much sugar going in everything.
Did he whisper that in the president's ear tonight after serving him seaweed and salmon, followed by slow-roasted lamb? If so, did the president understand his English twang?
There ain't no mucking about with that, is there? When you put it in your gob, it's like, give it a little bit of blow-blow. When I first started working in America, they used to translate me, which was, I was a bit offended at the start.
He's come a long way. Tonight, Oliver and the chefs who owe him so much cook dinner for the most powerful people on the planet, who will sleep well with bellies full of something called Bakewell tart. Nick Watt, ABC News, London.
And that's World News. We report on the summit tomorrow. I'm Charlie Gibson, and I hope you had a good day. For all of us at ABC News, have a good night.
Tonight, in one shocking moment,
this is our fault. We caused this.
Every survivor's life,
We're under arrest,
is in danger.
Keep your mouth shut and stop asking questions.
ABC's Lost. All new tonight, 9/8 Central on ABC.
Susie Orman's plan for what to do now that we're in a recession. The brand new advice we never thought we'd hear from her. Next Oprah. Tomorrow at 3 on ABC 7.
What are you eating?
Multigrain Cheerios.
So, trying to watch your weight?
No, why?
Nothing, it's just the box. It says it's low in fat.
Do I look like I need to watch my weight?
No, it just says it has 110 calories per serving.
Yeah, but there are other reasons why I like it.
I know, it's the box.
What else does the box say?
Box says shut up, Steve.
Multigrain Cheerios cereal, because it tastes good. Try new Banana Nut Cheerios with the great taste of real banana.
Flying to the San Francisco Bay Area for business? If these 99 reasons don't convince you to fly Southwest Airlines nonstop to Oakland, San Francisco International, or San Jose, maybe this will. Fly Southwest Airlines to cities within California for just $49.